Welcome to the Revere Veterans Community Show. Today we have a very special guest. He's the new sheriff of Suffolk County. His name is Steve Tompkins. He's only been sheriff since January of this year. And let me welcome you first. It's an honor and a pleasure to have you come down, sir.
Thank you, Morris. I really appreciate it.
My
Thank
pleasure.
you.
Would you say something about yourself, your education, and how you became sheriff?
Well, first and foremost, let me say this. I'm talking to a fellow New Yorker.
That's right.
You're
We're
from Brooklyn.
The same area.
I'm from Manhattan. That's a great thing. So that's actually why I'm here. I didn't come up here to be sheriff. I came up to hang out with you because you're a New Yorker.
My pleasure. My pleasure. My pleasure. We're both from the same city.
Yeah,
same
exactly.
borough.
Best city on the planet, I think. But, you know, I don't want to get in trouble with anybody. But the way I became sheriff is this. I worked for the prior sheriff, Sheriff Cabral, who has gone on to work for the governor. She is now the secretary of the Executive Office of Public Safety. And so when she was leaving, I talked to her and I talked to the governor and some of his folks about the possibility of me replacing her. And I was fortunate enough to be tapped to become the 31st sheriff of Suffolk County. And it's a great thing. And it's a great thing for this reason, Mars. We're in the second chance business, okay? A lot of people do things and they get themselves in trouble. Some folks should go away for a long time. Some folks should just pay their debt to society and then be given a second chance to get out there and take care of themselves and their families. And so that's really kind of what my mission and my passion is. One, to safeguard the citizens of Suffolk County. That's Chelsea, Winthrop, Revere, and Boston. But then after that, I'm looking at education, talking to kids about not going to jail, you know. And then when the guys get out, looking at what we call reentry, when you leave and you go back into society, hoping that they can go back into society a little bit stronger, a little bit wiser, and a little bit better than when they left, so they don't come back to visit us.
Right. I would like to ask you something. When I was a young kid, I don't know, since we both come from New York, if you remember Ebbets Field?
Oh, well, Ebbets Field was gone by, yes, but I do.
Flopper Chevy, Bedford Flopper.
That's right, yeah.
They used to have a knothole gang.
Yep.
And the fences were only about 8 feet high, and they used to have little knotholes.
Yep.
We were young kids, 12, 13. So we would sneak up by the fence, and when the police were, I hope you don't lock me up for this, Sheriff.
I probably will.
But that's all right. What if you told me, if you were going to give me 10 years of life, I would take life, because that would be shorter for me.
Morris, you're something else, Morris.
No.
Okay.
We used to knock out the knotholes so we could watch the ball game, and the police would come from the 69th precinct in New York, and they would chase us away. So I thought you'd like to hear a little
Well, see, now you know Ebbets Field from being in Brooklyn. I know Yankee Stadium, which is close up in the Bronx,
right.
and Shea Stadium. Shea Stadium out in Queens.
I used to go there too.
Yeah.
Right.
Now Shea Stadium is gone now.
I went there when, what's his name, Yogi Berra.
Yogi Berra was the man.
Babe Ruth.
Babe Ruth was the man.
Lou Gehrig.
The man.
Bill Dickey.
Oh yeah, these are some great players. So you like baseball?
I love
baseball. Of all the sports, what's your best sport?
Baseball.
Baseball
I
is
used to play for Harron High.
You know, the high school that you went to.
In high school, and we played against Columbia.
Columbia University?
Columbus High School.
High school.
Lou Gehrig went to.
Yeah.
Lou Gehrig went to Columbus High.
So what position did you play?
Third base.
No kidding.
So
you had a pretty good arm? You had a cannon?
Yep. I was the second best third baseman on my high school team.
And who was the first?
All the others. I thought you like that joke.
You know what? You're killing me, guy. You are. You know, you're killing me.
But I did. I played third base, and I was on the track team too. And I wasn't running from the police. I was just a good runner.
So did you run long distance or short distance?
Long distance and short distance.
Now, when I was in high school, I ran long distance. I ran, you know, Van Cortlandt Park?
Of
up
course.
in the Bronx?
Yep.
We used to run in Van Cortlandt Park. I couldn't do short distance. I wasn't fast enough. But long distance, I enjoyed a lot. I enjoyed cross country.
I had a girl. Well, I better not say this, but I used to visit a friend of mine out of the Bronx.
Yes.
I'm trying to think of the name of the street. I used to take the IRT up to the Bronx.
Yeah,
up there.
sure.
Right, they had the BMT, the IRT, and the Independent, the IND subways when I was there at the time.
So were you a Giants fan, football?
No, I was always a Dodger fan, but when the Dodgers...
Well, Dodgers are baseball.
Oh, you mean football?
Football, yeah.
No, I think I rooted for the Jets.
Oh, you like the Jets? No
Yep.
kidding. Good for you. But now you're a Dodgers fan. Did it break your heart when the Dodgers, when they moved out west?
Yeah, when they moved to L.A., I was heartbroken. But so did the Giants move out there, too, with them. So
That's right, they did. They went
San
out to San Francisco.
Giants.
That's right. I love the San Francisco Giants.
Do you?
Oh, I do.
Right. Can I ask you some questions?
Absolutely. That's why I'm here.
We have a crime watch. Could you tell the people at the senior or the people of Revere if they wanted to form a crime watch, how they would go about doing it?
To form a crime watch? Well, generally what a lot of people do when they form crime watches is they get together with their local police station, their district police station, and they talk about the fact that they would like to have a crime watch organization wherein they can look out for themselves and their neighbors and their citizens. So my suggestion would be to get in touch with your local district police station. They generally all have community officers. So you find out who the community officer is, you get together with him or her and talk about what it is that you want to do, and they will help you put a plan in place so that you can have probably monthly meetings, some do weekly meetings, and the issues that you're going to talk about and how you look out for one another. But now, if you're talking about senior citizens, putting one together also, you want to make sure that you're up to speed on all of the things that senior citizens will need to look out for, because people try to take advantage of all people, but they will particularly try to go after seniors. And, none of us can be impacted that way. But if you get together with your local community officer, he or she will be able to tell you and help you put it together.
I got to tell you something, Sheriff Tompkins.
Yes, sir.
I got I think it was about 2 months ago, maybe a little longer. I got a telephone call from a charitable organization.
Yeah.
They gave me a phone number and they told me to send money. I says, we don't send money unless I know I get a letter in the mail. Right. And if it has a P.O. box number, I still do not send money because a P.O. box means nothing. Right. So he said to me, if you don't want to send it, put it in an envelope and leave it in your mailbox and we'll pick it up. That way you'll know it'll be gone. We didn't do that there. No. When I found out there was no such number, because when I looked at the thing, I came over the caller ID.
Yep.
It said unknown name.
That's right.
Unknown number.
That's
so
right.
when you hear that.
That's right. Any of those things where people will call you up or send you a letter to say that you've won a lottery.
Right.
You have to be very, concerned about that, because most times those are scams. Look at.
Not most times, all the times
You're
when
right.
they say that.
You're right. You know that if you've entered a lottery and then you get something back from them, that's one thing. If you solicited some sort of information, maybe that's one thing. But these, what I call cold calls, where people just call you out of the blue or send you a piece of mail out of the blue saying that you've won a trip for two to the Bahamas, throw it away. Throw it away, because chances are it's not true. If folks will show up at your door to say that they're repairmen or they know carpentry or plumbing and that sort of thing, if you didn't solicit their help, they'll say thanks but no thanks, and let them keep moving. If you need a plumber, you'll call a plumber. You can find a plumber. You can find a carpenter. You can find what you need. But these folks that just show up and say that they're going to do you good, no. Oftentimes it's a bad thing.
I had that happen when they were doing the street, when they were putting in new gas lines on my street.
Yeah.
2 of them showed up. We can fix your driveway with we got some extra tar because the driveway was ripped up.
Yeah.
I says, thank you, but no thank you. No. I says, I have someone. Sometimes when people call me and they're looking for something and I look at the phone and they're asking for me and I know it's a scam, I tell them he's not home. Yeah. Can I give me your telephone number?
That's right.
And he'll call you back.
That's right.
They hang up on me.
That's right, exactly.
They hang
but also, I just want to circle back. Say you call, say your air conditioning is on the fritz, and you need to have it fixed. And you call an air conditioning guy or lady to come and fix it. My suggestion would be to get 2 or 3 quotes from different companies. Unless you know the person, don't automatically go with them, because I'm not going to say oftentimes, but sometimes you'll get unscrupulous people that will prey on any individual to say, look, you might have something that will cost $50 to repair, but they might say it costs $300 to repair. So my suggestion would be to get a couple of quotes. Don't go with what sounds like the best offer. What's that old saying? If it sounds too good to be true?
Judge Judy always says that if it sounds so good to be true, it usually is.
Right. No. She says it is?
It usually is.
Oh.
If it sounds too good to be true.
Right, exactly. So you don't want to just take that at surface level. You want to do a little homework, because unfortunately, we live in a society, we live in a world where people will take advantage of other people.
Right. And something, talking about scam artists, this is something that came up in the city of Revere.
What's that,
and
sir?
I wonder if you'd be kind enough to read it for us, sir, to let the people, the seniors and the Revere citizens.
Well, you want me to read it right now?
Just a little bit of it about the scam, that scam thing down there.
Okay.
About people they come into your house, usually 2 of them.
Yep. Well, if you want me to read this right now?
Would you like to?
Sure. Scammers donning. Well, it says scammers donning DPW design. So it appears that there are folks that are kind of disguising themselves. DPW disguise, right? The Revere police are warning the public to be aware of a scam where 2 parties are falsely posing as DPW, Department of Public Works, DPW workers in order to get into homes and steal valuables while residents are distracted. Oh, so they send 2. One is talking to you
While the
other
other
one is going through your
out
house. Right.
And
So,
let me give you an example of
Yep.
that, sir. I've had that happen to me. Two people came over. They said they were from the DPW.
Yeah.
I asked them where was their truck. It was on the other side of the corner.
yeah,
No truck, so
Right.
they had no truck with them.
of course not.
That gave me rang my bell.
Right.
I asked him for the ID. I left it in the truck.
Oh, yeah, no.
All right?
No.
So I said to him, well, let me go call the DPW in Revere and
Yeah.
ask him. So they said, well, let me go back and get my ID. When they went back and never came back,
Never came back, of
with
course.
the ID.
Because you were smart. That's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to challenge. You know?
And I usually do, and I tell them, they come with a badge, but if I don't see the vehicle out there, it rings a bell in my mind, there's something wrong here.
Yeah, no.
But
But you've worked hard for your money, right?
Yeah.
You just don't want to give it away like that.
No.
Unless you want to give it to a charity, but you don't want to just hand it over to somebody who's trying to scam you.
No.
You know, and that's what this article's about.
Most of the seniors, sir, if I may say that,
Yep.
they're on Social Security. A lot of them, that's
Fixed
their
income.
that's their only income.
right.
And these people know that.
That's
And
right.
it's a good thing to have the people that are on Social Security, if I'm right, to have direct deposit. Some of them get their checks mailed to them. And people, scam artists, watch out for that because they see, if the checks are mailed to you and you're not home,
That's right.
you can kiss your check goodbye.
That's right. Now, you got to be careful about this sort of thing, Morris, as you know, because people will take advantage. But you sound like you're a wily old fox. Nobody's
Well, I
going
was
to take
in the
advantage.
intelligence. That's why I think like a thief. My captain, no. That's what my captain told me. When you interrogate
Yeah,
people,
yeah.
you want to catch a thief.
Yeah.
You got to think like
Yeah.
a thief, but think one step ahead.
Yeah.
Always
yeah,
think
yeah.
one step ahead.
Like a game of chess. You play chess?
No, I used to play checkers.
Oh.
But I was the worst one at that.
No kidding.
Yeah.
I love checkers.
Do you really?
I love checkers.
I got to ask you.
Yes, sir.
About when you hire people to come to, what are the qualifications?
Okay, so good question. What we're looking at is 21 years of age.
Right.
Okay. We really don't have a ceiling. So, Morris, you too can be a security officer for us.
At my age,
Absolutely. Come on in. We'll give you a uniform and a hat.
you want to get rid of me, don't
That-
you?
no. But let me stop. So, 21 years old.
Right? There's no age limit on that? I mean,
On the upside,
yeah.
65, 70.
Okay.
But no. In fact, we had a gentleman in Academy, I think 2 or 3 academies ago, 55.
The reason I asked you that question, we have a lot of veterans of Revere that they would like to apply as a security.
They absolutely
as a guard.
should. They absolutely should. They should.
Could you tell them who to contact and how to get there?
Yep. Okay. Well, let me tell you what the qualifications are first. So at least 21 years of age.
Right.
We'd like you to have some college, but you don't have to. But we'd like to have, if you have some college, that's fine.
Does it have to be in law?
It does not.
Okay.
It does not. It does not have to be in law. 21 years of age, some college, military.
Yep.
Big on military, or life experience, meaning that you're a little bit older. And here's the reason why. Because you come into an environment, you're working in a job where you have jurisdiction over other people's lives. And so we don't want kids basically to come in to be officers because, kids sometimes cut up. And when you're talking about safeguarding someone's life and safety, we want you to be a little more mature, a little adult. We think that makes a lot of sense, okay? So those are the qualifications. If, folks, if you want to apply to the Suffolk County Sheriff's Department, here's what you do. You go to our website, and our website is www.scsd, as in Suffolk County Sheriff's Department, scsdma.org. So that's Suffolk County Sheriff's Department, Massachusetts, or www.scsdma.org. Pull the application down. Now, the application is pretty lengthy. It's about 9 to 11 pages because it's a security job, so we're going to be asking you a lot of questions about yourself and about your work history and all that sort of good stuff because we want to make sure that if you're going to come to work for us in a security environment, you're a trustworthy person. You fill out the application, you send it in, and then someone from our department will get back to you, and they will let you know what steps you take from there. Now, you generally have to take a physical test. You have to take an aptitude test. And then if you pass both of those and you come in, you have to go to a 12-week academy. And the academy is down in Chelsea. And it's a pretty rigorous academy. But once you get through that, then you're well on your way.
Right. And another question I would like to ask you, sir,
Yes, sir.
is when you have people that are incarcerated and they've served their time, I noticed, I was reading this, that you also help them get a job. Does that mean that people who have a criminal record, I know this is going to sound crazy, can go to work in a bank too? I mean, in other places like that?
Well, there are some places when you have a criminal record that you can't go to work. I believe there are some health agencies that you cannot get employed in.
Okay.
But see, it also comes down to the nature of your crime. You know, so if it was a car theft versus, say, something, bank robbery,
Right,
I doubt that a
naturally.
bank would want you to come to work for them. But here's what we do.
But I'm talking about like a young kid that does something wrong, like shoplift something.
Right.
And he's like 14 or 15.
Right.
He could never get a job like working in a bank or other places.
I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that. It depends on what the nature of the job was. Now, is he going to have a job where he's handling money? I don't know. Maybe not. But put it this way also. If you were a kid and you did that, but now say it's 10, 12 years later, okay, and now you're in your late 20s, early 30s, you've matured.
Right.
And it would be our hope that employers have factored that in to the equation, that you're an older person. We've all done some kind of knucklehead stuff when we were kids, you know?
I used to steal chewing gum when I was a young kid.
You know, I can still arrest you. There's no statute of limitations on.
Chewing gum?
Yeah, I can take you out of here. I got a paddy wagon outside right
I
now.
still got the evidence.
Just don't choke on it, right? No, but listen.
It's a sticky subject.
What am I going to do here? What am I going to do? No.
But that's what I did do when I was a kid. I used to go to public school.
Right,
there was a
right,
store there.
right,
I would
right,
buy something.
right.
And I would sometimes.
Right, you would lift it. I mean, and a lot of kids do that, but, you know, you get a little bit older, you mature, you
Right.
grow up, you know, and I think a lot of employers they factor that into the equation. But what we do at the Sheriff's Department is we have an academic education, because a lot of guys
read
and
that
ladies,
you help them.
right, they help them get their GED.
Right.
We have special ed for folks that need some special education, a slower track. And then we also have vocational education, where we're teaching them a trade.
That's
where we
good.
teach them carpentry, landscaping, custodial maintenance, or painting. You know, and then what we do is we talk to some employers as these guys are transitioning out to say clearly they have been incarcerated for a while, but while they were here, they didn't just sit on their duff. Okay, they took the programs, they learned a skill. Would you give them a look? Would you give them an interview? And we've been fortunate. We've had some guys who have actually come out and they've gotten jobs and they've done well for themselves.
That's very good.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
very
look,
good.
here's the thing, Mars. It costs $46,000 to incarcerate one individual.
A year?
A year. $46,000. That's a lot of money.
I know
okay?
that's 900 a week.
Okay, if you say so. That's
Probably.
a lot of money. Pretty good math, huh? That's a lot of money. And so what we're looking at is a system where we help folks stay out of trouble, stay out of jail, and two things come from that. One, they get back with their families. They can help themselves and their families, but it's also some relief on the taxpayer. Because where do you think that $46,000 is coming from?
me and you.
That's right, you see. And so what we try to do is address that and have folks return home in a better way than maybe when they left, you know, and so give them more of a fighting chance to survive out there in that big bad world that we live in.
That's very good. Another thing I would like to ask you, if I may, sir.
Absolutely, that's why I'm here.
The qualifications that you set out to be a guard, but there's different kind of people that do work at these jails, I assume. There's
Yeah.
could you just give us a rundown on
Okay,
that, sir?
first let me say this to you, because the officers are trained and they like to be referred to as officers, not guards. So just as you're going along out there, because you might walk up to an officer and say, hey, guard, and you might get arrested because they know you got that pack of bubble gum. That's another story.
You're not going to spill the beans on me when I get there.
No, I wouldn't, but we are on TV.
That's right.
So everybody knows the secret is out. But your question again was, what did you want to know? I got sidetracked.
yeah,
Oh, the different jobs.
jobs.
Okay, so here's what happens. You go through the academy and you become an officer and you work the units. The units are where the inmates are housed. You generally have to work the units for 3 to 5 years before you can do some of these other things. Now, once you go through that, we have an internal investigation team. You can work with our community works crews. You can work with our communications team. You can work with our accountants. You know, so there are different areas that you can work in. You know, we have a fleet of cars and vans. You can work with the folks that maintain all of our vehicles, you know, and so, but as you go through, you can work in our kitchen, helping to make food and that sort of thing. You can work in our infirmary, you know, where you help people that are a little ill. But that first 3 to 5 years, you have to work on the units with the officers.
Oh, I see.
And then as you get a little seniority, then you can, it's called job pick. Then you can like look at other areas of the enterprise that you might want to be, you might want to work in.
By the way, I got to say one thing. I was reading your resume, if I may.
Yes, sir.
And I noticed you graduated from Boston College.
I did, yeah.
Congratulations
Thank
on
you
that.
very much.
And you
yes.
also have a master's degree?
I do. I have a
Could
master's
you
in
speak
public
a little
affairs.
about your graduation? Your education?
Well, here's the thing. So I came up to Boston back in the late 70s, early 80s. Was fortunate enough to get accepted to Boston College. Went to Boston College.
One of the good schools.
One of the great schools. Thank you
Right.
very much. Studied communications. Enjoyed it incredibly. When I graduated, I didn't work in this field. I worked in television. Television. I used to do all of the stuff, the cameras and the directing and the producing. I did that for 20 some odd years. And in 2000, one of my clients called me up. It was a community health center in Roxbury. Long story short, they asked me to come to work for them as their director of public affairs and marketing, which I did. And then in 2002, the sheriff at that time called and asked me if I'd come to work. It was a female sheriff. Called and asked me if I'd work for her running her communications
That wasn't
department.
Cabral, was it?
That was Cabral. Yep.
That was
Cabral.
Cabral.
That was Cabral. Yep. And so she recruited me to come work for her in 2002. And in 2005, because I never worked in the public sector, I always worked in the private sector, I thought that, you know what, it would make a lot of sense if I went back to school to get another degree, but to get a degree in policy, so that I would understand all of the stuff that you should know as a public servant. And so I went to school. I went to UMass Boston, which is a great school, and it was a 2-year program at night. So I worked all day, went to school at night and on the weekends, and I got my degree about 1.5 years ago. Yeah.
By the way, you have a gentleman who I met, and a very good gentleman.
Yes.
I don't know his last name, but I know his first name. His name is Ed.
Oh, yes,
What's his last name, if I may?
Geary. Ed Geary. In fact, Ed Geary, we do a television show, something like this at the Sheriff's Department, and Ed is our producer for that television show, but Ed works in our External Affairs Department. He's the Deputy Director of our External Affairs Department, and Ed is probably one of the best gentlemen you could ever hope to know or work for. He's a good, decent, solid guy, you know, and so I'm glad you brought him up. You
The
know.
reason I brought him up is I'm from the Revere Senior Center.
Okay.
And we'd love to have you come down to our center sometime when
I'd love
Ed
to.
gets a chance.
I'd
You
love
could
to.
book it
Yeah.
with Ed.
Yeah.
And explain to the people everything about, like, for example, a brochure that's put out called Crime Prevention Tips for Seniors.
Yeah, sure.
That you're going to have your
Yeah,
pitch on
yep,
it, I
yep,
hope.
yep,
Bring
yep,
it down,
yep, yep.
pass it out to us.
Yeah, I most certainly will.
Would you do that?
I would love to. I would love to. I love going to. In fact, when Sheriff Cabral was campaigning, we went to a number of the senior centers, and we had a great time. We'd bring cake and coffee, you know, and the folks would be there, and we'd have a good time talking about a lot of stuff that was important to them.
I'll give you my home phone. You can call me when the cake and coffee's coming.
Ah, you like that part, huh? Yeah.
But
Okay.
We'd love to have you
that
come
would be
up
fun.
there, Sheriff.
No,
By the way,
yeah, I'd love to.
you're doing an excellent job so far. I really spoke to you, went on the phone about a month ago, and I asked you about certain things, and you were very good and knowledgeable to me. And what are the future plans of correction officers, if I may ask, at the thing, you know, to bring up to speed?
Well, basically, here's our mandate. Our
Any
mandate.
new jails going to be built, if I may ask you?
Not that I know of.
Okay.
Not that I know of. I know that a couple of years ago there was some discussion about some being built, but I honestly don't know. You know what? If they're going to build any of those structures, I'd rather see more schools than jails.
Talking
frankly.
about schools, the city of Revere,
Yeah.
under our Mayor Dan Rizzo,
Yeah.
got a new school coming up.
Nice.
They just built a new school, the Whaler School, I believe it is. Not
Yeah.
too long ago, they built a new school, the Garfield School.
Mayor Rizzo is an incredible gentleman. In fact, I was with Mayor Rizzo about 3 weeks ago. I was down in Revere, and I was with your police chief down there.
Caffarelli.
Lovely gentleman, you know, and I had an opportunity to sit with them for about 30, 40 minutes. It was great. I had a lot of fun. And I knew your prior mayor, Tom Ambrosino.
So, you're right.
You know?
He works, I think, in the State House.
I'm not sure where Mayor
I think
Ambrosino's
he's-
at now, but he's
Yep.
a good guy.
He was an excellent mayor for 12 years. We have him.
Was he there 12 years?
12 years.
Yeah, good guy. And we also participate in the bocce ball tournament down there on Revere Beach.
Can I ask you how old you are off the record?
55.
You're not a senior. We at the senior center we have a bocce thing
Do
for
you
seniors.
really?
Yeah.
No kidding.
Okay. So the seniors out there, if you like bocce, come
Yeah.
down to our senior center at 25 Winthrop Avenue, Revere. And by the way,
Yes, sir.
if you grow a little beard or something and say you're 60, we'll let you right in with us. We'd love to have you come down there. Do you know how to play bocce?
I do.
I'm the worst bocce player it is.
But you know what? It's the camaraderie. It's the fun. It's the fun of the whole thing.
I know with the people
It's
together.
so much fun. Yeah, we had a blast. And the bocce ball tournament that they have out there on Revere Beach is, I mean, they have all these different teams. And, of course, we got massacred. I mean, we just got beaten. No, it was, I mean, we won a game or two, a match or two, but at the end of the day, we lost. But we had so much fun.
Right. I got to ask you, was you in the service of any kind, if I may ask you?
No.
But you're a veteran of the community, and we love
Yes.
veterans of the community.
Yeah.
And let me tell you,
Yeah.
it's people like you that protect people like me, really,
Yeah.
because, I mean, if it wasn't for the police and the sheriffs and the others, you'd have anarchy in this country.
Oh, no, there's no doubt about it. But you
Okay.
know what you said? And first of all, I'm a huge, huge fan of the service, of the armed services.
I know that.
Huge fan. I mean, really, I believe that what yourself and other men and women have done for us, you know, when they actually give of their lives, give, you know, of their time to go and basically safeguard us, there's no better honor.
I got to tell you, we had a gentleman come down. Maybe I mentioned it to you before, maybe I didn't. His name was Paul Monty.
No.
He couldn't have put a flag on his son's grave who's buried in Bourne Cemetery. He could not put a flag there, so he went to see our president, Barack Obama,
Right.
and he spoke to him. Obama is the kind of man that does not hesitate. He got on the phone right there,
Good.
Paul Monty told me.
Good.
He called the superintendent of
Good.
Bourne Cemetery
Good.
and told him to put a flag on
Good.
his son's grave.
Good, good.
His son is Jared Monty, Jr., Congressional Medal of Honor winner.
No kidding.
Yep.
Wow.
And he could not have a flag on his grave. So,
But he's got it now, though.
oh, it's all
That's
changed. Now we
beautiful.
do it every
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
So, by the way, I'm going to give you a couple of minutes. Sheriff, would you wrap it up and just let us know what your future plans are and what you plan to do to improve if you...
Well, no, I can tell you. Basically, it's 5 things, Morris. Number 1 is what the taxpayers pay us to do, and that's called care, custody, and control of the pretrial detainees. Those are the guys that haven't gone to trial yet, and the inmate population. So care, custody, and control means that we safeguard the communities that we're charged with in Suffolk County, which would be Chelsea, Revere, Winthrop, and Boston. So that's number 1. That's what we do out the box. Now, when you get beyond that, the 4 other initiatives that I'm going to really be concerned with is 1, education. Keeping kids out of jail. Now, come visit us, take a tour, but go
you let
home.
them do that? Do you have
Oh,
to bring-
absolutely.
Good.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Because we want to demystify this whole thing about jail being a cool place to go. It's not cool. It's not fun. And you lose your liberties. And what people don't understand is once you go to jail, we tell you when to get up, go to bed, when to eat, when to make a telephone call, when you can shower, when you can have recreation. Why would you want to do that to yourself? Why would you want to give your life over to someone else's governance?
Right.
Okay, so education is big, and I'm going to talk to a lot of kids about staying out of trouble. 2 is domestic violence. 1 out of every 4 women are, compromised by someone that they know or someone that loves them.
Just got another minute left.
I'm going to wrap this up. 3 would be detox and mental health. We need to have more money for detox and mental health beds. And 4 would be reentry, getting folks out of jail,
And to
going
the
to work,
public,
and
right.
going back and don't come back. So those are the things that you'll hear from me.
I want to say, Sheriff Tompkins, I want to thank you for coming here. It's an honor and a pleasure to have you speak.
Oh, listen, I will always come back. I will definitely come to visit you folks in Revere.
Let me finish the way I always do, sir.
Yes,
May
sir.
God bless you. May God bless the people of Revere. God bless our troops. And God bless the United States of America. And you out there, thank you, folks, for listening. Till we meet again, thank you. And I want to thank you for taking the time off because I know you're
Morris.
busy.
Not for you.